First, the USDA's Justice for All non-discriminatory statement, which simply states that all persons must be treated equally without regard to their race, color, national origin, sex, religious creed, disability, age, political beliefs, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity, and that our institution provides an inclusive space for all. For more information on the And Justice for All statement, please visit the USDA's website.
Hi everyone, my name is Brian Quilty with FCHS, Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Gloucester County. Here's another Family Foodie event. So this program is made possible through a grant from New Jersey Department of Health and Human Services and New Jersey SNAP Ed. So thanks for coming on today. This week we are going to do a pumpkin pie smoothie recipe. So this one is one of my favorites. We're going to use a fresh pumpkin. So I'm going to show you how to prepare that. If you don't have a fresh pumpkin, you can always do a canned pumpkin, it's no problem. But I do like this time of year, we can get local ones, Jersey Fresh. So we are going to use a fresh pumpkin for our recipe. Before we get to the recipe portion, I just want to talk a little bit about some nutrition topics and a little bit about this, which is My Plate. For those of you that are not familiar with My Plate, it tells us all our food groups, right? So we have fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, and dairy. The main takeaway with My Plate is that we want to make sure we're getting all the food groups every day. So not every meal has to look exactly like this, but it's no problem if you get maybe just a few of the food groups with your meals. So the recipe today, we have our fresh pumpkin, right? So pumpkin is going to be in the vegetable group. We're going to do banana, so that's going to be right here, and that's going to fit for our fruit. We don't really have any grains in this. That's okay. We don't have to use all our food groups, right? For protein, we're going to do some yogurt, and I'm going to use Greek yogurt, so that way it's higher in protein. So we'll have a little bit of protein in there, and then also with the yogurt, it's going to have a little bit of dairy too. So that's going to be how our smoothie kind of fits into My Plate. So another takeaway kind of with My Plate is half of it is fruits and vegetables, right? So most of us don't get enough fruits and vegetables in our diet. So this smoothie is a nice way to incorporate some pretty quickly, right? And I always like to say to kind of eat with the seasons. So rather than eat the kind of like the same fruit and vegetable all the time, if you eat seasonally, meaning like it's November right now, we can get apples, we get squashes, we get pumpkins, they're all in season. So try to incorporate what is in season right now locally. In the summertime, you're going to have your tomatoes, your peppers, maybe a little bit more than what's in season right now. But this time of year, we still can get a lot of local ingredients. So try to eat seasonally, because that way we're making sure we get variety in our diet. Every fruit, every vegetable has different nutrients, so we're making sure we get a nice, well-rounded diet that way. All right, so first thing that I'm going to show you is how to prepare a fresh pumpkin. All right, so this is a smaller sugar pumpkin. Typically, this is what you use for like baking. You could use a larger one. This is a lot easier to work with, however. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that you wash it, dry it, clean it, right? So I did that ahead of time. My hands are also clean, wash those. So basically we're just going to cut this in half. All right, so I started to do it before. So we're going to make sure we're very careful when we cut this. We generally, the hand that you're not holding the knife, you kind of claw it, kind of like that, just to watch out for your fingertips. So I started, so I'm just going to kind of put it this way. And once it goes through, you're going to find it's pretty easy. It's just that kind of initial cut. All right, so I think I got it. Alrighty, and that's that. So that's how you cut a pumpkin. Now we do make sure we wash the pumpkin like I mentioned, because even though we're not eating the outside of the skin, the knife still touched the outside. and then we want to make sure it doesn't touch the inside. All right. So we don't need the stem portion there, so I'll take that off. Just kind of discard that. So to prep it, got a little bowl here, got a spoon. So we're just going to scoop out the kind of the guts and the seeds, right? So it'll take a little bit of time to do that. So you can save the seeds if you want to roast those, kind of get the most out of your pumpkin, right? So we'll scoop all these guts out here. And then you can just, you know, if you're not going to use the seeds or you're going to save the seeds and the guts, you can just always compost that or just throw that out. No problem. Just kind of got to scrape it a bit. Alright, I'm going to use my hand there to get some of it out, make it a little easier. So I got most of it out, so I'm not going to spend the time to do both parts there, but just to give you an idea, we just scrape that up just a little bit more, make sure it's all nice and clean. Once we have both pieces scooped, we got a greased baking sheet here, put those face down. We're just going to pretend this one is scooped out for now. Put that down. Just rinse my hands. Alrighty. So you're just going to bake that at about 350 for, usually takes about 45 minutes. So we'll pretend that we're going to bake it. I'm not actually going to do that right now, but you just put that in there. Alright. We'll pretend 45 minutes just passed. Take it back out. I have ones that I already baked. I would definitely be using an oven mitt right now if the oven was on. So I baked these earlier. So the way you tell it's done, I'll just take one half here. It's going to be easily pierced with a fork. So this goes through real easy. Alright. So that's it. So that's how you prepare a fresh pumpkin. Again, if you're in more of a rush, canned is totally fine. But I do like getting some fresh ones this time of year, using our fresh produce. So you can just kind of use the fork and just kind of scrape. And for this recipe, for the smoothie that we're doing here, we need about 2/3 cup of pumpkin. So I'll get our blender out, the measuring cup. So we'll just do about 2/3 of the way up in this 1 cup measure. Just scoop it right in. And you would certainly want to make sure it's nice and cooled down before you do this part. You can always bake the pumpkin ahead of time, and then once it's cool, scoop out the insides and refrigerate it or freeze it if you're going to use it a little bit later on. That works well too. Alright, almost there. Get a little bit more out. Alright, so I think that is about 2/3 of the way. So we'll just put that right in our blender. So our pumpkin is done. So pumpkin's great. It's really high in potassium, really high in vitamin A, vitamin C. You're getting a lot of fiber. So you got a lot of good stuff going on with pumpkin. Alright, so other than that, let's move this to the side here. Cool. So we have our pumpkin in there first. Next up, I'm going to add in some milk. So I'm going to use skim milk. Skim milk's great. Still has all the nutrients, all the good stuff that's in other milks, like 1-2%. Whole milk, the only difference is no fat. So we always recommend the lower fat options. So we got our milk in there. It's about 1/2 cup. Next up, I'm going to put in banana. So I had a fresh banana here, but you would want to freeze the banana ahead of time. When you freeze banana, always peel it and then freeze it. Because if you just put it in the freezer like this, it's going to be very hard to get the peel off. So I have a frozen piece there. We'll throw that in. I also have some pumpkin pie spice and a little extra cinnamon too, because you want to get that good pumpkin pie flavor. Alright, we got that. I also have 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, so not too much, just a little bit to give it a little bit of sweetness. We don't want to add too much sugar to it. So just a little bit there, 2 tablespoons. And I have the yogurt in my refrigerator, so I'm going to grab that real quick. So we're looking for about half a cup of the yogurt here. So I recommend doing, if you want to do the Greek yogurt, you can to get the more protein, but any yogurt really works in here. Alright, got our yogurt in. So the last thing that we're going to add in is just some ice, and that's just going to help thicken it up, right? So I have about a cup of ice. So that's everything. So we're going to put our top on. So all blenders are different, so mine is usually good about 30 seconds. Yours might be a little bit longer, so that's fine. Just once everything looks nice and blended up, you're good to go. Good to me. Alright, so got our nice well blended up smoothie there. I'm just going to pour it into a glass. Alright, still a little bit left in the blender. You can see there, looks like a liquid pumpkin pie. So I'm going to enjoy this. But thank you guys for coming on today. We are going to post a survey in the comments. If you have a minute to take our survey, we appreciate it. Helps us out, helps our funders learn some valuable information. But other than that, we'll see you guys next time. And thanks again for logging on today.